We're like, Lord, I trust you fully, but still, let me apply for a few extra jobs just in case that one doesn't come through. Or, Lord, I trust you with this house, with this apartment, but still, I'm going to put in some extra bids. What does that then show about our faith? Like, do we really trust God if we're going to create backup plans? No. Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Deborah, for those of you who don't know that, and I am a faith-based content creator, mainly on TikTok, now also on YouTube, and welcome to a series that I call Faith Talks, where every week I sit down and talk about a topic that the Holy Spirit is leading me to talk about. And this week, I want to talk about exhausted options. I want to talk about how God sometimes has to exhaust our options in order for us to fully trust Him. We like to say that we trust God. We like to say that we trust Him without borders, like they sing in Oceans by Hillsong. We're like, Lord, I trust you fully, but still, let me apply for a few extra jobs just in case that one doesn't come through. Or, Lord, I trust you with this house, with this apartment, but still, I'm going to put in some extra bids. I'm going to continue going to viewings for other places just in case. We pretty much always want to make sure that we have a backup plan, that we have something to fall back on. But what does that then show about our faith? Like, do we really trust God if we're going to create backup plans? No. So I want to dive deeper into that and share with you that word that the Holy Spirit gave me at the beginning of this year, which was, Deborah, I'm exhausting your options. And He told me this as I was praying for this apartment. I had just finished walking around this building for 7 days, like the Israelites did with Jericho, out of crazy faith. I did that. I was fasting, I was praying, and this was after day 7 where nothing spectacular happened. Like in the story, the walls of the city start to crumble. That didn't happen. There wasn't any crazy breakthrough. And I was like, now what? Like, what do I do now? And in that waiting period, I started to question everything. Like, God gave me a word about this apartment, and He told me on day 2 of walking around this building, like, Deborah, consider it done. The place is yours. It's already settled. Like, it's yours. You can trust me fully. And it goes back to that Bible verse where it says, anything you ask for in my name, it will be given to you. When your heart posture is in the right place and you're honoring God, you could ask for anything and it is yours. So He gave me that word, and after I finished walking around this building and nothing happened, I started to question the words that God gave me. I was like, did God really say this? And was it really God's voice, or was it my own? Was it just me wanting this apartment? Was it the enemy getting my hopes up? I started to question everything, and within that questioning and within that unknowing waiting period, I was like, well, I still need to move out. Like, Lord, I still want to move, and I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I'll just continue going to more viewings. And I was kind of creating a backup plan. I was like, while I'm waiting to hear back from this apartment, I might never hear back, but I'll make sure that I'm going to viewings for other places so that I have another option. And that's what I was doing. I was going to viewings. I was starting application processes. I was just continuing on like this. And within that, there was so much resistance. Like, there was no from every side. Even places that had been on the market for ages, who were eager to find people, they were rejecting me and my friend for the craziest reasons. Like, it made no sense. And I was like, what's going on? And that's when I had that realization, and where the Holy Spirit gave me that word of like, Deborah, I'm exhausting all your other options. You can continue going on like this, but my favor is not upon you finding something else. I want you to trust me. I want you to wait on me. I will make sure that no other option works out, so that you have no choice but to trust me. You have to wait on me. And that's where I got. And I was like, okay, I hear you loud and clear. This doesn't make any sense in the natural because I'm not hearing anything from this apartment, but fine. So from that moment on, I stopped looking. I told my friend that I was looking with, like, look, I don't think we're on the same page in this. And I just kind of gave her a hint of like, you go on, you look for something else, maybe find another friend to look with. And I just gave up on everything. And what I did within that was I just started reading my Bible. I was like, okay, Lord, I still need to move out. I'm frustrated in this place. I was sitting in my bed in that corner of my room. If you've seen the videos, you know what it looked like. I was sitting there in my bed and I was like, this makes no sense, but okay, let's read my Bible. I'm going to listen to worship music. I'm going to praise you through this. Like, Lord, you've got me. I'm going to continue on praying. And that's when, I don't remember the specific timeline, but I believe 2 days later, I got an email from the letting agency saying, Deborah, actually, we've had 1-bedroom flats available. Do you want to come in for a viewing? We can book you for a viewing right now. And in that moment, I knew, I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, this is what you had me waiting for. This is it. And I just want to encourage you with this, because I think that in the waiting for what God is doing, sometimes we can feel like we're not doing anything, or other people can look at us and say, well, shouldn't you be looking? Shouldn't you be applying for more jobs? Shouldn't you be saving more money? Shouldn't you be doing this and that? And in the natural, waiting on God can look like we're not doing anything, but actually waiting on God and trusting him, it takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot of our strength spiritually. If you look at it in the spiritual realms, that's when we're fighting. That's when we're going to war against the enemy. Like, that's when we're doing the most, in that waiting period, in the times where it looks like nothing. So don't let other people make you feel like you're not doing enough, or yourself even, where you're like, I feel guilty for not doing anything. Let me just do this. No, like, sit back and trust God with it. Like, whatever you're praying for right now, it might be finances, it might be an apartment like me. Hold on to the words that God gave you. Hold on to that. And if you feel that friction of like trying to make things work, but nothing is working out, it could be that God is also exhausting your options and saying, I want to bring you to that place where you only have me to rely on, where there's no other option, there's no other safety net around you but me. And all of this just reminds me of the story of Jairus in the Bible, in the book of Mark, where Jairus goes to Jesus with complete urgency because his daughter is dying. Like, she's ill, she's passing away. And he tells Jesus, like, Lord, please come and lay your hands on my daughter so that she may be healed. And within that, God takes his time. And lo and behold, they get met by a servant who tells them, you know what, it's too late now. It's done. She's passed away. There's no point in coming anymore. And in that moment, Jairus' options were exhausted. Like, it was done. To him, there was nothing else to lean on, nothing else to rely on but God. Even in that moment, I bet he was like, well, Jesus, never mind. Like, it's finished now. And in those times, God is saying, no, actually, I haven't even gotten started yet. Like, I still have to do my work. I still have to come through. Like, I needed this to get to the place where it seemed like it was dying. It seemed like the house was no longer available. Like, your bid wasn't enough. Like, the position has been filled now. Sometimes God has to get us to that place so that he can make it happen in such a way that will show that it could have only been God, not just to you, but to other people around you as well. And again, in that story of Jairus, that's when Jesus goes to the girl and raises her from the dead. And how much more powerful and significant is that miracle than if he would have healed the girl? Like, of course, that would have been insane as well. Like, God's healing power is not to be messed with. That's crazy. But raising her from the dead shows that when something is finished in the natural, like, it seems like there's no way for it to happen to us. To God, that's the beginning of something new. Like, that's where he wants to step in. That's where he's like, okay, now I can work with this. This is my time to resurrect this from the dead. And yeah, all of this just ties in together, like God exhausting our options to get us to that place where our trust is truly without borders, because we can sing that song, we can love that song as much as we want, but when it truly comes down to it, we very often don't trust God without borders. We want to have the safety borders around. We want to have that safety net underneath. But again, that then shows that we don't trust our plan A. We don't trust God with that. And I want to encourage you, like, I'm here in the apartment now. I'm here. God had to bring me to that place where all my other options were exhausted. And that's where he expands our faith. That's where he's like, let me see what you will do in this season. So if you're there, if you're in a place where you feel like nothing else is working out and you're not sure what to do, just focus your eyes on Jesus. Again, Matthew 6, verse 33. I will always go back to this verse because it's such a key point. Like, just seek God first, focus on him, and the apartment will come, the job will come, the finances will come, the baby, the family, whatever it is that you're praying for, it will come if you just focus on Jesus, focus on God fully first. Like within your exhausted options, whatever it is in your life, drop it all. Just drop trying to make things work in your own effort. Stop trying to create these backup plans and just raise your hands up and say, okay, God, like this is scary to me. I don't know when or how or what, but I trust you. And I'm just going to dive into my word. I'm going to get closer to you. I'm going to seek you. I'm going to fast. Like get in that place where your only focus is on Jesus. And that's where he can orchestrate everything. He can do his thing. He can move things around and supernaturally make it happen. Like me getting that email from the letting agency then I remember crying because it's so surreal when it then happens and it shows that this is the answer. Like me just focusing on Jesus is the answer because that's when everything else falls into place. And there's nothing even when people ask me about it now that are non-believers, and they asked me to explain how I got this apartment, there's nothing else I can say apart from God made it happen because it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. Like from then on, the referencing process, everything, like God's hand was upon it so much. So I really want to encourage you today that, you know, if you're in that place where everything is frustrated and you don't understand what's going on, God is indeed exhausting your options. He wants to bring you to that place and help you get to that place where you realize that I have no other option but to trust you, God. And that's scary, but that is exciting because that's where God's power goes beyond what we can ask, think, or imagine. That's where he wants us to be. So yeah, I just want to encourage you with that you can truly, fully trust God. He's got this. He loves you so much and he won't fail you. Like whatever you're praying for, when I was praying for this apartment and I got in that place of like, okay, Lord, you do this. It was like, of course, I'm praying that it's this place, but if it's not this, then I trust that you have something better. You say that I can trust you, so I will trust you. I will trust you, and that's that. Like, God won't let you down. God won't let you fall. You can lean on him. He's your safety net. He's those borders that we want to create for ourselves. That's God, so let him be that, and I promise you, he will go above and beyond and do more than you can ask, think, or imagine. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you this week. This is a word that has blessed me so much. And every day from now on, it's something that's always on my mind. And when I want to create backup plans and I want to be stressed and do this, I'm like, no. Let God do his work. Let God do it. Just focus on God. Let him be the center. And if there's something that he wants to tell you, if there is another direction he wants to lead you in, then he will make that clear to you. But just that intention of fully trusting God and leaning on him will not go unnoticed. He does not delight in leading you on and getting your hopes up. Not at all. He wants to stretch you and stretch your faith. And that brings him so much joy, and he delights in you when you do that. So I want to encourage you again, fully trust God. He's got this. I promise. I could testify of that myself. And I really hope that this has been a blessing to you. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I will see you again very soon. That's what I get for wanting to